Well, hi everybody. I hope that everybody can hear me clearly, that the audio is well, and also my slides are visible, because I have the pleasure to talk about our new version of SEP Sesam Jaglion version 2. It sounds like a very small update of our latest version, Jaglion. However, I can promise you that I will talk about a lot of new and very exciting, interesting functionalities. I will a little bit comprise all the features of version 1 and version 2 together, because all together fits in a perfect picture and creates a perfect picture and concept. I will present and explain it in a couple of slides, but also in a live demonstration how the new functionality can be used and how it is represented in our user interfaces. So, my name is Klaus Riem and I'm happy to make this session today with you. I'm a pre-sales engineer at SEP, and therefore I have the environment and the knowledge to give you all this functionality. So now you are not in the wrong session, and it looks a little bit strange to you maybe, but this is a agenda of a web session that Veeam has provided, one of our competitors, last month. And I have taken this picture to show you that in our session we are proud to talk about essentially the same topics today. There are only two topics in this agenda, which are kind of future topics for SEP, but I can promise you we are already working on these topics. And the first one is the S3 object lock. It's already under development, and the Kubernetes thema is also that we have already set up to a running environment, so that you can figure out how to do best backups of container environments. Well, and all the rest, it's what we will talk about today, like the object storage, like the immutable storage, like the S3 interface, Azure, AWS, especially the Wasabi partnership, and so on. We will talk about all these topics because they are also applicable to SEP and our backup software, SEP Sesam. So we can use this agenda and adapt it from the layout and also from the content. You see, I have changed the presenter, and I have changed the name of the backup software for the partnership over here. And well, this is still a little bit complicated, this kind of agenda, so we will rebuild it into a real SEP agenda, and this will look like this. I will talk about the Jaglion version in general a little bit, and then I will talk about the most important and most interesting topic of this session, our next generation deduplication and all the enhancements and implications for your concepts. And you can see already from the buzzwords over here that we have an immutable storage, that we have Azure Blob now as an object storage, and so on, Nutanix Pure Storage, and also a slide on our Cloud Application Protection Service. So let's directly hop into the first slide, talking a little bit about Sesam Jaglion version 2 in general. You know, this is the link to our download server, and currently the version Jaglion version 2 is the 5.0.0.9. This can be downloaded, but you also have to install Service Pack 2, because there are a couple of significant fixes in Service Pack 2, so it's necessary to install this Service Pack as well. And then I can tell you already a little bit, a view into the future, that we are already working on an updated version. So in the next step, there will not be a new service pack, no service pack 3. There will be a completely new version. Currently, we are working on the 5.0011, but could also be a 5.0.0.12. That's not completely decided yet. But it will be a new version, not a service pack. That's important. Yeah, then there are some changes in the support matrix. We have added Windows Server 2022. We have added Windows 11. Also, the new CentOS versions, you might know that they have kind of renamed their versioning structure, and there are new CentOS versions, Alma and Rocky, and they are all now mentioned in our support matrix. We have two new sections in the support matrix because it also has been enhanced our support matrix with respect to HPE Store 1s as well as the object stores, and therefore we have new sections especially for these two topics in the support matrix. Also, we now support LTO9, that's tested, and you can definitely use it with our software. And I know that we already have customers using LTO9 with SEP sesam. And from the version 1, I would like to mention once again that we also have installable packages available for the ARM architecture, hardware architecture. And this is something very interesting because I know that there are not much of our competitors providing packages for this hardware architecture, which could be used for maybe Huawei, Taishan server or others. So this is something which differentiates us from our competitors, I guess. Well, then one new topic of the version 2 is that we will provide a new license. We will provide a community edition, which is completely for free. The release process for the community edition and this specific license file is not completely set up already, but will be finished during the next weeks. But it will be available, the community edition. It's already implemented in the software. And I would like to give you a little bit of an insight into the power of the community edition for free. So first of all, there's no limit for the front-side data. You can back up as much data as you would like to. The only limit is from the backend structure, because it includes 3 terabyte of storage pool, so native disk space, and also 1 terabyte of deduplication storage. So if you have an efficient dedup ratio of maybe 20:1, you could back up 20 terabyte of front-side data into 1 terabyte deduplicated data. It depends always on your data and the deduplication ratio. So these are the limits. However, you can use this for replication. There are also 2 nodes replication license included. You can use 1 client for source-side deduplication. That's also possible. And for the backup options, we have included 5 backup clients so that you could back up 5 clients. You can set up 1 remote device server. So you have 3 streams. Bare metal restore is included. NDMP, NetApp, always 1 license for this. You could use whatever hypervisor we support. You can use it with 5 virtual machines included. Some of the level 2 databases and some of the level 2 applications, and also 5 mail users included. So I think it's a cool package. You can use our software for free in your private productive environment or small environments, and just use it as it is. No service included, no support included, and you can use it, download it and use it. So now let's talk about the deduplication. And as you might know, that until Beefalo, we had the SI3 deduplication, just one backup server and an SI3 deduplication storage. Then it was possible to replicate the data to another SI3 deduplication storage, which might be attached to an RDS somewhere in another location. It also was possible to do some source-side backup, source-side deduplication backup from a backup client directly to the data center, to the backup server. You could restore from both sites, from both SI3 deduplication storages, and it was possible to have kind of a security backup copy via the S3 interface. Yeah, the S3 interface, this kind of backup copy, it has some restrictions, I would say. Yeah, first of all, it needed a local storage. You needed local storage, a local SI3 deduplication store configured within SEP sesam. And then if you configure the S3 bucket, then it provides automatic data copy to the cloud or to the S3 bucket target. And it was kind of a two-step restore process so that if data is deleted in this SI3 dedup store and you would like to restore data and the data is missing locally, then it restores the data automatically in a two-step process from the cloud to the local storage so that you can restore to your restore target. It was no chance to control or have any influence on this S3 backup target, so it was not possible to do a direct backup to the S3 target, and as well it was not possible to restore directly from the S3 target. So it was kind of a transparent background security copy of your backup data. Now this has changed dramatically with a new deduplication, the next generation deduplication, SI3 NG as it is called. Now the first setup, at the first view, it looks pretty similar. You have the backup server over here. It's an SI3 NG configured from the GUI. You also have another SI3 NG on a remote device server. You can replicate the data. You have source-side deduplication from the backup client. That's also possible. So essentially, that's the same functionality as with the previous version of our deduplication. Now, what is new is that you can set up both deduplication storages, and you can set up an old SI3 and a new one, and with that you can replicate, you can transfer the data from the old deduplication store to the new one. And as you can see from these arrows, it is now possible to have more than one deduplication store at one RDS or one backup server. Yeah, I don't know the maximum exactly, but it's possible maybe to have 5 different deduplication storages at one RDS. And this helps a lot if it comes to scalability, for instance. If you would like to deduplicate a lot of front-end data, you can classify your data. Yeah? You can have one deduplication storage for file data and another deduplication storage for your Oracle data and one for the HANA data, because the deduplication of these different applications and sources do not really provide any intersection, I would say, of identical blocks. So you can easily separate them into different deduplication stores, and this helps to set up more individual backup concepts. Yeah? The generic advantages of the new deduplication storage, the NG, is not the algorithm itself. The algorithm is almost the same. It was pretty efficient already in the past, inline, variable block lengths, and so on. and always provided very, very good deduplication ratios. And this is the same with the new one, with the NG. But it is much better if it comes to performance. Backup performance is much better, but essentially the restore, the read performance for restore and migrations, it has improved dramatically. And this provides new possibilities to set up new concept, because you can now use the deduplication store as your primary backup target and then replicate to somewhere else, then migrate from the deduplication storage. That's now possible and provides much more options for your backup concepts. Then, very important, very new, our SIS, the immutable storage, which locks the data and helps to provide protection from ransomware. And I have a separate slide explaining how the immutable storage will work, and I will show it in the live demo later on as well. So this is one new option with Jaglion version 2, the SIS immutable storage. Now then, we have new the S3 target, and as you have seen from the last slide, we already had some S3 connection, but now the S3 target, the bucket, is presented in SEP sesam as an SI3 NG deduplication storage, and so you can use it for direct backup to S3. There is only a little bit of local metadata on the backup server on the RDS, and then you can the data blocks will be collected until a specific size or amount of blocks has been reached, and then these blocks will be transferred to the S3 bucket. So it's presented as a dedub storage, and in the background it's connected with an S3 target, and this could be a local object storage. This could be a S3 cloud storage. We will talk about the possibilities, what we have validated, what we have certified in a couple of minutes. And these are all presented as SI3 NG deduplication stores, so that you can use them for direct backup, direct restore backup from the RDS and restore to the backup server or to another location. You can migrate data from here to tape maybe. You can also replicate from the cloud storage to the local object storage. You can replicate from anywhere to anywhere in every direction. So this helps and improves the possibilities for backup concepts dramatically. Also new is the connector for Microsoft Cloud Storage, the Azure Blob connector. And so it's also represented as an SI3 NG deduplication storage. And if you provide the Azure Blob credentials, then in the background, the data will be transferred in deduplicated format into the Microsoft Cloud. And you can replicate your data from the S3 cloud storage to the Microsoft Cloud Storage fairly easy by selecting 2 media pools, and then you can set up kind of a multi-cloud concept. The data is not transferred directly from the cloud to the cloud. The data will be transferred to the RDS and then to the next cloud. However, the setup is fairly easy, and you can migrate your data from one cloud to another cloud, or you can use both clouds for backup and restore and mix your environment, have a hybrid environment. So this provides a lot of new possibilities. And as you can see now from the previous picture, it's much more diverse now. You have much more options, and it's all provided in SEP sesam identically. I think that's a real cool story with the new version of SEP Sesam. Now, if we talk about SI3 NG in general, we have new limits. They are not fixed yet completely. We are still a little bit in a testing phase with some customers. What are the new limits? However, I can tell you they are much, much bigger than with the old deduplication SI3, and the old SI3 deduplication is already deprecated, so you should definitely use our new deduplication algorithm, and the old one will be maybe already in the next version be deleted from the selection menu. And then you have the possibility to set up multiple dedup stores. I have already talked about this topic. From a usability standpoint, I will show you in the live demo how easy it is to work with the different types of SI3NG dedup stores via the media pools, and you can use it for any combination of backup, restore, replication, or migration. That's all possible. From a security perspective, we have released with Jaglion version 2 the encryption functionality. You might know that encryption already was possible with the old deduplication store, but with the new one, this was kind of a missing functionality with Jaglion version 1, and to complete the functionality set so that all customers with the old SI3 deduplication can move to the new one, we have now implemented the encryption functionality with also with the new deduplication storage. Then we have the immutable storage against ransomware protection. Just wait a second until I will talk about this topic in more detail. And then the performance, it's dramatically, I can tell you, it's maybe not 30–40%. It's kind of a factor, that it's factor 2 or factor 3 faster than the old one when it comes to read access to this deduplication storage. And then the enhancements: direct to S3, direct restore from S3, direct to Azure Blob, direct restore from Azure Blob. So these are all new functionalities, and we are already working on more cloud connectors in this area, I can tell you. Now let's talk about the SEP immutable storage. For the SEP immutable storage, you need a separate RDS with a internal direct attached storage where we set up the immutable storage. And what are the preconditions for this? The preconditions are that you need, first of all, a physical server to gain the best protection against ransom virus. Yeah. You need a Linux RDS. It's only working on Linux. You need one of these three operating systems, LES 15, RHEL 8, or Debian 11. You need a file system, ext4 or XFS. Definitely a file system which supports the chatter command, which is the command to make use of the extended file attributes of these file systems. This is what is used in the background. Yeah. And then you need to secure your server, yeah, so that you can access this server only via the console. No SSH, so that no ransom virus has any chance to attack this hardware from remote, because you can only log in from the console. Yeah, you need some sort of TCP/IP connection, but only one open port for the sesam connection. Then we have a retention time precondition. You know that an immutable storage locks your data for specific retention time, and you can configure this time. That's the SIS lock time. And you have another retention time with your media pools, which specifies how long you will keep your backups. And the media pools should always be have a longer retention time than the SIS lock time. Otherwise, Sesam will try to remove backups, but they are still locked, and this removal of backups will fail. Yeah, and then you need some correct time sync, so an NTP service should run on this hardware. These are the preconditions for this immutable storage. Now the setup, first of all, you need access to this box from the console via root. And if you log in via root, then you can install the Sesam package, the RTS package. This is the remote tape service package plus the service pack 2. And then you have to run a specific config script to configure the immutable storage, to specify the drive number and this lock time retention and all this kind of functionality. You have to provide a name for your SIS deduplication store. So this has all to be done via the console, and then you have to go to your backup server and run the GUI, or you can also use the command line interface, because the smdub interface command is used in the background. And with this command, you can configure your SI3NG as being an immutable storage. And then you can use it for configuration, for backup or for replication via the media pools, just as you are used to it from all other deduplication storages. The point is that Sesam has just one open port to connect with this hardware, and all the data which will be written to this SIS, immutable storage, is locked for this lock time retention. And if someone tries to attack the backup server, even if he has gained root access to the backup server and has completely control of the backup software, the backup software does not have any permissions via this port to delete any kind of data. You can only delete the data via the root access, but that is secured because you can only log in via the console. So this is the security concept of the immutable storage. So in a nutshell, the conclusion is that why does the SEP immutable storage provide additional protection against ransomware? And there are two facts. First of all, only root can do a deletion, but that's secured because you can only log in via the console. And Sesam has access, but it does not have root access, and therefore SEP Sesam cannot delete any data from the immutable storage. That's the important point, and that's why ransomware does not have any chance to attack this kind of data. Well, I really like this slide because Robert Müller, you might know his name because he has leaded a task force against Donald Trump also, and he has made the citation that there are only two types of companies: those who have been hacked and those who will be hacked in the future. And this is typical for a virus. You could also use it for corona. There are those who have been already infected with corona, and the other ones who will be infected in the future. It's kind of similar situation, but it's still valid. So regarding the S3 storage, we have a lot of new partnerships, and we have tested a lot of different cloud storages for S3. Yeah, we have a new partnership with Wasabi. I have a separate slide on this. And also with Ebert Lang, the Ebert Lang storage. We have certified our software. And this is in fact a Wasabi storage in the background. We have tested with Amazon, AWS, and we have tested with the IBM Cloud already. So this is all working with SEP Sesam, definitely. I mean, it's supposed that every S3 cloud storage is working with SEP Sesam because it's a generic API. However, we have done some dedicated testing with specific providers, and also with the local object storage, we have tested and certified with Data Core Swarm, and we have set up in our own lab a Nutanix objects S3 target. We have also tested with the Pure Storage FlashBlade. We know it's working perfectly, and we have also tested the MinIO virtual S3 object storage, and that's also working. So I think it's a cool selection of S3 object targets, and they are all validated, and we know they are definitely working. So regarding the Wasabi partnership, we have started this partnership, well, I guess 3 months ago, 4 months ago. It's a signed partnership agreement between these two companies. We have done the certification. We have created a solution brief and a detailed knowledge base article how to configure SEP Sesam with Wasabi. We have a specific landing page as part of our SEP homepage with respect to Wasabi. And we have just released our common press release. It's only a few days old. And then we have some common distributors like Ebertlang, Cloudland in the Benelux, and the Climb Channel Solutions in the US. And these are exactly the countries where are Wasabi data centers. They have a data center for Ebertlang in Frankfurt, for Cloudland in Amsterdam, and for sure in the US for Climb Channel Solutions. So from a distributor perspective and data center perspective, this matches perfectly with the SEP distributor channel structure. Here on LinkedIn, we have our, you can see Verena, she's our kind of alliance manager from Wasabi, has provided the joint press release where we describe that we are now entering the market together. And we have also the Wasabi homepage, and on the Wasabi homepage you can search for technical alliance partners, and if you filter by backup and recovery, it's more easy. If you search for SEP, you can find SEP as being a technical alliance partner of Wasabi. Click on learn more, and then you will see the details of the descriptions, how is the setup, how you configure this, open the knowledge base article, and so on. It's all described in detail already on the Wasabi homepage. Yeah, we have also partnerships with storage vendors. First of all, Nutanix. And if you know Jaglion version 1, then you should know that with Nutanix we have provided a new SEP agent for VM backup, including change block tracking for incremental backup, also single file restore by mounting virtual machines, and so on. And this is all already part of version 1. And now we have done the S3 validation with Nutanix objects. On the Pure Storage side, I can tell you that we have common customer projects, huge customers using Pure Storages, FlashBlade or Flash Array. It's all in place, and we have now the experience to set up backup concepts to make best usage and best benefits from these all flash storages. We know how to set up multiple RDS and create a lot of parallel streams to really put some workload on these all-flash storages. So we have all this experience. And we have also validated the S3 interface of the flash plate. So that's all on the Nutanix and pure storage front. So there are some smaller functionalities of Jaglion version 2 as well. They are not so important as the immutable storage or others, but I think it's very good with respect to usability that we have new task types in the Web UI Restore Assistant. We have now MySQL, Postgres, iFolder, and eDirectory. So it's now pretty much complete regarding the task types in our Web UI Restore Assistant, which brings us to the next step that we can try now to promote the Web UI Restore Assistant, because it's much more comfortable, much more intuitive. So it's possible now in the GUI to select your restore interface. You can choose if you would like to restore via the GUI restore wizard, or if you would like to restore via the Web UI Restore Assistant. And if you go into the GUI with a right click in your context menu and select restore, then this restore interface, which has been selected as a default, will open. Yeah, and maybe in the future we will put already the Web UI Restore Assistant as a default to open if you select the restore. We have reduced the user modes to only 2 modes, the simple mode and the advanced mode. That's more intuitive. In the past we had 3 type of modes, and now we have consolidated into 2 modes. And if there's a functionality missing in your GUI, then just check your mode if you have to switch from the simple to the advanced mode, and then there pop up other functionalities. We have some generic performance optimizations, and just an example, the setlib library, it's included in our packages, and it's used for calculating checksums before a restore and before a backup. And this was a little bit slow, this setlib library. And if you have a small or medium environment, that's not important. You will not feel it. But if you have a huge environment with thousands of backup tasks and restore tasks and migration tasks per day, then you will feel that we have included now an update of this setlib library, and this checksum building is now very, very fast and helps a lot to improve performance for backup and restore. Yeah, we have support for a new RAF disk system. This might be important for our Red Hat virtualization users, that there is now also a type for Virtuo SCSI. Yeah, and then a lot of new options in the GUI, new filter options, and so on. That's something you have to try yourself. If you have installed Jaglion version 2, you will see that there are new buttons all over the GUI. Yeah, then regarding our cloud application protection service, this is a little bit now outside of the Jaglion version 2, but it's definitely an important topic. And you might know from other webinars that we support with this CAPS application, as we call it, already the backup of cloud services like Microsoft 365, Dynamics, Salesforce, and Google Workspace. Also new since a couple of weeks is the support of and backup of Azure Active Directory. Also, We have now Zendesk in a preview version. So if there are customers who are using Zendesk as a cloud service, they can contact us, and then we can help them to be kind of a beta tester for this Zendesk cloud service backup. And for the future, we know the development of our partner Keepit, our Danish partner. They are working on backup of cloud services like Power BI, Atlassian, and so on. So there's really a lot of improvement and progress going very, very fast into the future. Yeah, our experience is that there is really a strong rising demand for cloud service protection, and you can easily contact us via sales@sep.de and ask for a demo account, and I can promise you that more than 90% of the demo users who have just tried this easy to use web portal will buy this software, definitely, because it's really convincing. We have also now a huge set of data centers, and well, for German customers, we have a data center in Frankfurt, but there are other data centers available, and there's also a new layout of the sign-in page. We can just click on this login page for the Frankfurt data center, and you can see we have the SEP layout. It's powered by Keepit, and that's now the login page for this data center. So now we have covered all these topics from the Veeam agenda as well. And now let's hop into the live demo. And I have provided already a GUI. You know, it looks pretty clean and clear when you start working with this GUI. And if I click under components on the data stores to show you how easy it is to create all these different options of the new data stores. This is here, new data store, this button. And now you can see that here we have the SI3NG deduplication store. This one is deprecated and will be deleted in the future. Yeah, and if I click on this one, it's now presented as a SI3NG deduplication storage, deduplication algorithm for inline, in-memory deduplication is switched on, and you could enter a name and fill out all the data and then say OK, and you can use this amount point over here where to put the deduplicated data. That's the standard for direct attached storage, internal disks, or iSCSI disks, or fiber channel attached loons, or whatever. However, you can change the backend, and in the backend, you have additional options now where to put the backup data, not locally, but maybe on Amazon or on Microsoft Azure Storage, on Wasabi, and the SI3 appliance. That's the immutable storage access. You need this for the immutable storage. Yeah, you need to provide the credentials, how SAP Sesam can connect to this immutable storage hardware, this RDS. Yeah, or you can provide the credentials over here for the Azure Blob Storage, or for an S3 target, S3 bucket, no matter if it's a local object storage or a cloud storage. Yeah? That's how easy it is to configure this. In our demo environment, we have already configured here a Wasabi storage. Look at the properties, and then you can see that the storage backend, it's an S3 bucket to Wasabi, and you can see there are some save sets already backed up to Wasabi. We have a media pool, the Wasabi media pool, with a retention time of 7 days over here. And you can see the actions, the purge, check space, file system checks, and so on, which are running regularly on an deduplication store, and we have the general overview of this store. Is it accessible? What's the dedup ratio? You can see that that's the dedup ratio over here, how much data we have on this storage, and so on. So this is the generic overview. Now the same for the immutable storage. We have a little immutable storage over here. It's called RDS_sys. And if you look at the back end, it's the credential set with the SIS host. That's the immutable storage RDS. And we have some safe sets in this immutable storage, and also a media pool sys 30 day. And the retention time is 30 days of the media pool. And the immutable storage, when I have created this immutable storage, I have made a lock retention time for this immutable storage on the system for 29 days. So the media pool has 1 day more than the block time. Yeah, we have the actions, the SI3 state, everything is pretty identical and similar, whatever option you use. And now you can use these kind of storages. We have an SI3, a normal SI3 on local disk over here. And just as an example, if you go to task, you set up a replication task. Yeah, let's do a new replication task, and then you can create set up a replication task and choose a media pool from the Wasabi to the SIS or vice versa. Yeah, from the SIS to the Wasabi cloud storage. It's fairly easy by just selecting the pools. You transfer and you replicate the data from one backup target to the next. Yeah, so it's easy to use as if it were local. Let's do a little backup to show you how it works. Yeah, search for a small backup. We have a test backup somewhere over here, DemoFix3, that's our backup server, and we have a test backup configured over here. That's pretty small. I can do an immediate start of this little backup, do a copy backup. Where would you like to put the data to? Not on this local, but on the Wasabi storage. So select the Wasabi media pool, click on start, backup is started. And also we do another backup on another target. Let's use the SIS, the immutable storage, start. And now this is the next one. And now let's go to the scheduling, no, not the scheduling, the job state overview of the backups. And then you see that we have some test backups, and well, they are pretty short. You see 28th of July, they are from today, they are from now, and they are already successful. And if I go on to the results, you see that there are 2 from yesterday, and these 2 are from today. And these are the media pools, Wasabi and the immutable storage. Okay, that's how the backup works. Now, as the immutable storage is kind of a locked storage, it should be possible to not to delete, but to read from this storage. That's something I would like to prove. Yeah, and I can here show you the web UI, and you can easily see that there are the new task types, Postgres. We have the I folder, we have the E directory, these are, and the MySQL database. These are the new task types of Jaglion version 2. But we use the files and directories restore. Click on next, do a restore of our DemoFix3, click on next. Now restore from the test backup. That's important. Yeah. And here you see the 2 backups from the Wasabi and from the SIS, and I can do a restore from the immutable storage. So I select this one, click on next. And now you see you can browse in the backup, select this file, click on next. Where would we like to restore to? Restore to the demo fix 3. Select the path where to restore to. That's just as usual. Everybody should be familiar with this. Restore to temp restore. Restore all items flat in the directory. Override if it exists. Okay. Next. That's the overview. Start the restore. And now the restore is working. It's already successful. So you can restore from this SIS. And now I would like to show you the how the immutable storage works. And therefore, I will go to the data stores. We open this immutable storage and we go to save sets. And now you see that here we have these backups, the two which have already been there from yesterday and the day before, and there's the backup from today. And now to delete backups, you can easily change the end of lifetime. Yeah. Now the end of lifetime, it was 30 days. Now it will be kept until August 27, and I can change this to now. Yeah. Little message. Yes, we change it to now. Now it's a EOL free save set, and this can be deleted. To delete these EOL free save sets, we have the purge process. The purge looks at this disk storage system to delete EOL free save sets, and normally this save set would be deleted. So let's have a look at the actions. And you can see there was a purge process that's from just right now. And there is a message, 0 from 1 EOL free save sets remove. There are one save set, EOL free, that's the one we have created because we have changed the end of lifetime to now, but it was not deleted. Oh, 0 was deleted. So it's a little bit tricky error message. However, it explains that nothing has been deleted. It's still visible in the save sets. It's still there, and the purge process has just skipped this save set. It's not deletable by SEP sesam. Okay. Now there is another option within SEP sesam where you can really delete backups, and then SEP sesam tries to remove as much as possible from this backup. So we double click once again. That's this delete backup button. Yeah? And if we click this, yeah, another message, click on yes, and then we have a purge process and we have a deletion process, and now it is gone. Now, what do you think? Is it deleted? And to be honest, the database entry has been deleted, so it's not visible over here, but the backup data is still there on the immutable storage. It cannot be deleted by SEP sesam. And we can prove this by easily recover the database from the immutable storage. You know that we have this little functionality in our software that we can recover save sets from the data store itself. And this is, I'm now here on the backup server on the demo fix 3, and I will run the command smdatastore check database drive 3 and recover all save sets from drive 3. Yeah, and now it extracts the save set data from the data store and sets the database entry once again, and then it should be visible once again, successfully. Okay. Refresh. Takes a little bit of time. Was everything successful? Let me have a look once again. Files recovered. Yes. Okay. Has been recovered. So the view is still missing. The data is still there. It's still in the looks like it takes a little bit of time until it updates the view in the GUI. In the background, everything went fine. The entry has been done into the database. So, well, that's a little bit of a first impression how the immutable storage works. I have to put this refresh button once again. It still takes some time. Okay, it's easy to configure, it's easy to use, no matter if it's an immutable storage, if it's a cloud storage, S3, Microsoft Azure, blob storage, everything is the same look and feel, and I think this is a great step forward for our software, and that's what I wanted to show you in this webinar. Thanks everybody for joining this webinar. Here we have a little overview of where you can find more information of our software, the support matrix, our YouTube channel with also the booster webinars. We have just released booster webinars for authentication and authorization. You will find the booster webinar for Nutanix restore and backup of the virtual machines. We have our wiki, which describes in detail the immutable storage as well and how to configure the immutable storage. And you can download our software for a trial period of 30 days. So thanks to everybody for joining us and your time. And well, till next time. Thank you.